friends, it's Michelle from Tape and Twine. Welcome so much to my channel and to this month's episode of Tea with Me. If you're here, then you know that I am a paper crafting, mixed media loving, vintage collecting, creative person who loves to share all those things on this channel. This episode, like all my monthly episodes, are talking about what's going on in my paper world and maybe my vintage world, and also a little chit chat, some book recommendations, supply recommendations, and what's on my work desk. So grab a cuppa and let's get started. Today is St. Patrick's Day, where I am right now. So if you're watching, that may have been yesterday for you, depending on your time zone. And I hope everybody was a little bit Irish yesterday or today, and that you got to celebrate. I am drinking today, because it is St. Patrick's Day, I'm having an Irish coffee. And if you don't know what an Irish coffee is, look it up. I'm not going to advertise that it's only 1 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm having Irish coffee. But it is, everybody's Irish on St. Patrick's Day. So let me have a little sip and we'll get started. Okay, guys, so I am going to start by telling you about a little paper hack I came up with. I'm really excited about this. I think it can be great for happy mail, I say that a lot, happy mail, or it can be used like if you wanted to, maybe if you are a retailer and you're selling things, or you're putting together little ephemera packs for a flea market, for a friend. Really great way to upcycle some packaging. So if you're like me, which all of you mostly are in our world, you have lots of these kinds of packagings hanging around. And I used to keep them to make like shaker tags and to make windows and things like that. But I was looking at them the other day because I have a whole stack of them, and I was like, you know what? I bet this would make a really adorable packaging piece. So let me show you how I made them really quickly. These will come together fast. You can make a whole bunch. You can use up your scraps. There's just really so many cool things. So you might want to slice right here with your scissors, or you can check to see if it's like this. There is already a little pocket. Some of them have the pockets. Now this one, I didn't notice there was a pocket, so I cut. So you can see I'm feeding it through the side. So you open the little pocket, and inside you have the little cardboard packaging. Now, you have two choices. This is a really plain one, but this one here was red and it had all sorts of writing on it. So in that case, I just flipped it over and glued it like this. I simply put glue and then put some clamps on it until it dried. The reason being, I wanted to be able to have this sort of little border around, and I wanted to be able to ink. Now, you could easily just cover this whole thing with a piece of paper like this, right? And not even worry about whether or not there was writing on there. But if you want this little tiny border, like I have on this one, then you're going to want to put glue on the inside, like this. You know, a little Fabri-Tac or something that will hold good, probably more than a glue stick. I'm using Fabri-Tac because I know that will hold really well. This was just you can see a little package that had paper clips in it from Joann's Crafts. So I'm just going to take the clip, and this way it will stay glued. So then what I'm going to do is decide what I want to do for this paper piece. On this one, let me see if I can take it out. I simply, let's see if it can focus, there we go. I simply cut a piece of a master board and then glued it on the front. And then on the back, I just put a piece of tea-dyed paper and then a sentiment that I stamped here and another really thin slice of masterboard, right? I think it's cute. It's nice and sturdy. It's not like unfolding. And then you can just slip the top of, you can just slip it sideways in, and you could put whichever side you want forward. You could either use the sentiment side or the pretty side. So in this particular case, let's look at some options. You could use scrapbook paper. You could use music paper, and this one is a Christmas carol. So think about how cute some Christmas packs could look with some Christmas music paper. You can use some lightweight scrapbook paper. You could use some ledger paper or some kind of neat, like just vintage paper. You could use wrapping paper. You could use tea dye paper. You could collage something. You could use scraps from digipacks. You could really do anything you wanted. So I'm just going to take this one here, and I'm going to show you what I did on this one. I took ink. Where's my ink pad? And I simply inked all the way around. You don't have to really be neat because I'm going to be covering with paper. And even though the other side really was pretty plain and I might have been able to get away with just having it as it was, there was words and a barcode, and I really didn't want to take that chance. So then it's just a matter of measuring it, right? And I'm going to just trace it and cut slightly smaller. That fits on really nice. So I'm just going to glue that on. And finish it off with some ink. And then on the other side, you can do your sentiment if you wanted, or you could cover both sides and just rip the sentiment. Let's do that. Let's see how that looks. Make sure that's covered well. Okay. So each side is covered. Then I can take a little piece of tea dyed, and I got this set of stamps at a clearance recently. They were $13.99 Stampabilities with all of these words on it, and I got it for $3.49, which I thought was a fabulous deal. And all I did was I simply put the sentiment on a block. You can see hugs and kisses. And what I'm going to do is just stamp that on. Like that. And I'm going to rip it. And I'm going to glue it right here on the edge. I'm going to ink the sides just a hair. You could really have fun with gosh, all the little kind of packaging, the little sentiments. You can handwrite it. You could use found words from a book. I mean, there's really, you could stick a button, a ticket, a stamp right here, right, to make it just a little bit cuter. Let's see if I can find one that has the right color. I have a little pink heart here. I have a green, a really pretty green stamp right there. So let me put that green stamp on. And for Happy Mail, having some stamps on it would really be super cute, right? Don't you think? And then maybe a little heart right there. Isn't that sweet? Then you just take the packaging again and place it back in the pocket. And voila, you have like a personalized little Happy Mail packet. Then you can simply take some things you want to put in there, right? I'm going to take a little break from the crinkling. I feel so bad about how that's probably affecting your ears as I just stuff this little packet full of goodies that I will be sending off to a pen pal. You know, they are just great little packages for all sorts of miscellaneous little papers. They come in all sorts of sizes and they're so easy and fun to make. I hope you like that idea. I have a whole stack of these kinds of things. I have long ones and short ones and big ones and skinny ones. And one of the things I wanted to show you is you can just take labels and stick them on the outside of the packaging to make a more layered look. So you can put stickers, you could put stamps, and just, you could add on the outside of the packaging some additional things that will make your package look even cuter. I hope you like that idea. Okay, let's move on to the next part of this episode. So one thing I really want to share with you guys this month is something I'm very excited about. It is the 8th issue of the Foxy Rag magazine, published by Fox Creative, Tracy Fox out of the UK. And under the new shop section, she has graciously featured my Etsy shop in this month's edition of the Foxy Rag. So first of all, I wanted to thank Tracy for the opportunity and for, it's just such an honor to be in her magazine. But also, in case you didn't know about the Foxy Rag, I wanted to show you a little bit about it. It is a e-magazine, and it not only comes with like really great articles, but all sorts of, so like this is what's in this month. Featured artists, shops, channels, and there's just so much information and creativity. There's inspiration and lots of freebies. She includes tons of digitals in her e-magazine, her monthly magazine. As you can see, some tags, some more journal. And look it, I'm so excited. This is me. This is my article, which I'm just so incredibly thankful that she, included me this month. And I'm just tickled. And I also provided 2 free pages of digitals in the magazine as well. So, and then now I've lost my place. All right, let me get to where I was. So you can see all of the wonderful things that are in this magazine. It's very affordable and it comes with so many digitals. It is well worth the price of admission. I will put her information below if you would like to get your edition of the Foxy Rag. It comes out quarterly, and so many fabulous artists and so much wonderful information is inside. And like I said, I am just so proud and excited to be included in this month's issue. I made sure to beef up my shop before this came out, just so that I had a little bit more offerings in there. So I will put all the links below if you want to check out the magazine and you want to see what I put in my shop. And yeah, I just wanted to share that with all of my viewers and friends and supporters, because it was kind of a big deal for me. Okay, so as I always do in Tea With Me, I make book recommendations, usually every month. And those book recommendations are usually for books that most of the time are for fussy cutting, for book pages, for their creative content, for books to cut up, for inspiration, to be used as journals. For people who don't use kits so much, they're usually where you can get lots and lots of great materials for your journals and your paper projects. Sometimes they're books that are just for inspiration, and sometimes they're for reference or to teach. But these two books were bought for the pure intention of cutting them up and using them in a journal. Now, one's a hit and one's a miss. And I wasn't going to show the miss, and then I thought, well, I should show the miss, because I don't want you to spend money on a book that you won't get much out of either, because nobody wants to be excited about getting a book and then it comes in and you find out you're not really going to use it. So this is my miss, this first one. It had excellent reviews, and because it's from England, I couldn't see the inside of the book. I could only see the cover and the reviews. And because there was so many reviews, and I think it mentioned something about all of the illustrations or all the artwork. I saw naturalist series, I saw mushrooms and toadstools, I saw the fact that it had excellent reviews, and I thought, this is going to be a book that I'm going to get a whole lot out of. And I saw the cover and I thought, oh gosh, this is definitely the type of book that I want. And generally books from the UK are just so much prettier than books from the United States, especially when they're vintage. And I think this one is, let me see if it actually is, 1989. I guess it's not really that interesting. Oh, but it was 1953. So I was thinking, okay, the first time it was printed was 1953. It has all these illustrations. This is the cover. It's from England. It's a naturalist series. This is going to be a home run. Well, let me show you what's in it. Yes, it's got some great mushroom information on it. It's just a black and white book with black and white pictures, and the pictures really aren't that great. I mean, you know, even if you got some really good photographs, that might be worth it. But there's really nothing in this book. So at the most, I will now probably cut these up and maybe put, you know, some coffee stain on them, and I could use them as general book pages that talk about mushrooms. But I paid like $10 for this book, and you know, like if this is the best I get, and it's a very grainy, I mean, it actually looks better on camera than it does in real life. I honestly, this was a mess, and I was really disappointed. I mean, I'm sure it's a great book, and I'm sure who wrote it was the guy was very lovely and knowledgeable, but this was not the book that I was hoping to get for, you know, my mushroom fussy cutting. So that would be a miss. But now I'm going to recommend a hit. But it kind of wasn't a hit for me, and I will explain why. It's not really the book's fault, it's the bookseller's fault. This book had been fussy cut already and had been cut, and the person selling it didn't realize it. So when I got it, I don't really usually have a problem when I get a book and it has some damage to it, because I'm going to cut it anyway. But if I'm buying it to fussy cut it and someone else has beat me to it, that's probably not going to be great for me. But luckily, I got it through Thrift Books. Thrift Books instantly reimbursed me, and there's still so much left in here that I'm gonna order another one, and then it won't be an issue for me, and I'll get double my stuff. So I'm just gonna tell you that if you, number one, love Victorian, love to fussy cut, and maybe you're not someone who likes to use kits, or you don't have a printer, or you want Victorian pieces but you don't want to spend the money, this is such a win book. And this book cost me $6, and the amount of material in this book is amazing. So let's get into it. So it's the Victorian Scrapbook. It's part of a series of books that are all Victorian based. So I'm thinking a lot of the books in the series probably are equally as good, but I don't know that for sure, but I would say it's worth the research. It's by Cynthia Hart, John Grossman, and Priscilla Dunhill. I'm going to take off the book jacket, and I'm going to show you that it's a big, beautiful pink book with some beautiful embossing. So even the cover, look at the back, isn't that beautiful? Even the cover is really nice. Let me see if I can zoom out a little bit so you can see the full page. And I'll see if I can get a size on this. Usually a size on a book is not that important in one of these reviews, but if you're using this as source material, I think you would like to know that it is 10 by 10. It's like getting a 10 by 10 piece of scrapbook or art paper, except it's full of things that you can fussy cut or use in your journals. So here are the end pages, and as you can see, I'm going to turn this light down so there's no glare. Let me shut that off. As you can see, there is just an amazing pair of end pages here, and then when you get into it, it's made by Workman Publishing. Everything on these pages is pure Victorian. And let's see, this was printed in 1989. Hey, both books were 1989. And I believe at that, see the page? See? I don't know what was on there, but I'm sure it was beautiful. But this is really nice too. Everything in here is just full. First of all, the information in here, as someone who loves Victorian era, is excellent. There's so much you can learn about Victorian paper, about Victorian design, about Victorian, that time period. So if you wanted to read it first, that's even better. And then it really goes into Victorian paper, and there's so much Victorian information in paper, and it's just a great source book. But look at all of this that you can fussy cut. I mean, there's amazing artwork in here. The only negative is that it's slightly shiny, so you might need to bring that down if that bothers you. And, you know, you're going to have to choose between which side you want to cut, unless you're using them as journal pages. That might be a tough choice on some of these pages because there are some beautiful things. Again, I don't know what was on this set of pages, but look how many Victorian, it's almost like collaged for you. There is just so much in here you can cut. Look at this frame here and the fans. You guys know I love a good fan. So it's definitely talking about history of the Victorian time. Look at these pictures. They're just phenomenal. Look at the shells. I'm going to actually flip from the back because it's easier to see. And I'll stop. So we have Christmas. Look at the beautiful, beautiful Christmas decoration pages. Oh, that is amazing. Look at that. Really, really great eye candy. Great things to cut. There's so many things in here that could be used for paper dolls. You know, we buy the paper dolls from Tim Holtz, and you can get kits online for paper dolls. Sometimes people just want the head or they want the dress. This is great source material for paper dolls. Look at just like the pages, how many things you could cut out, how creative you could be. how colorful the pages are. I mean, it's really a great win-win book. And then look at these fans. If you know, I love Victorian paper fans. I have Victorian paper kits in my shop. I have Victorian paper videos on my channel. So this was like, I'm definitely cutting this out for sure. These calling cards. Oh, I actually have this piece in real life, so it was so exciting to see this in a book. This is a lot of what I collect and a lot of what's in my personal collection. And I can say that it's very expensive to get these Victorian pieces individually. To get a book like this for $6 and then be able to fussy cut a lot of these things out is just, and there's such a great variety because the subjects are talking about, you know, Victorian times. Look at this, is all like, C. And this is talking about Victorian scrapbook, which is something I personally love and look for in my own life. I have some of them myself, and it's just, you know, look at these miniature trade cards they have. Fussy cutting those out would be terrific for a collage. I can't say enough about how much you can pull from this book. And I mean, this page alone, let me see if I can get closer. Look at the detail. That's the other thing too. I make Victorian kits. I am not trying to dissuade you from buying kits, but I can tell you that this printing, the quality of this printing is going to be better than anything you can get on your printer. And, you know, that might be a silly thing for me to say because, yeah, I want to sell some kits, but you know, honestly, I think there's a place in our world for kits, and there's a place in our world for getting source material out of books. And one of the reasons books are really great is because the quality of the printing, the detail that you get, might be better than what you will ever be able to print. And I think that that's important sometimes on covers or with specific parts of a book. So, you know, I'm always, when I make these videos, I'm trying to come from not only somebody who does have, you know, an Etsy shop and does do these things for a living, but also a crafter who enjoys the same things that you do. And I don't want to, you know, I always think it's about making good recommendations, not recommendations on what benefits me. And I can tell you that I would recommend finding books like this that have high quality Victorian images. If you don't have flea markets by you, if you want a wide variety of Victorian imaging for very few dollars, this is such a great way to go. Now, keep in mind, anything in here, the way it's used is probably copyright of this book, so you couldn't scan it and then use it in your own kits. It'd have to be for personal use. Oh, I have this card. How funny. But it's definitely, you know, a lot of us are, you could make it and use it in a journal and sell the journal, because you are allowed, when you buy a book, to have that one use kind of copyright, where as long as you're not recreating that and you're putting it into a brand new thing you're making. So you can definitely cut up this book and use it in anything that you sell. Amazing book. I will put the title and the information below so that you can find this book on your own. Again, I found it on Thrift Books for like $6. Yes, mine was cut up, but it's still about that price. I found so many copies of this book and similar books on, you know, the places we look, Thrift Books, and Amazon even sells used books, and eBay. And if you're in the UK and in Europe, I'm sure you have your own secondhand books as well that you can look. Now, this being printed in New York might be harder to find in the UK. I'm not sure. Sort of like Edith Holden is harder to find here. So I'd really be curious, if you are in other parts of the world and you're interested in this book, please put in the comments how much you're seeing the book for, and if you find any sources for this book, because it would be interesting to see if this book is something that's easily available in other places. So those are my 2 books for this month. Okay, let's move on to a great YouTube channel. So every month I like to recommend something, whether it's a material, an Instagram feed, a YouTube channel, something that I think will really benefit other people like me who love journal making, book making, vintage, etc. And this month, I would really like to recommend a YouTube channel called Book and Paper Arts. And the content creator's name is Kelly, and she lives in Wales. So I have been watching her for about 6 months now, and I have to say she's one of my go-tos. Okay, so there's Kelly in the bottom left-hand corner looking adorable. And these are just some screenshots from her channel and kind of how I found her. Because she's an American who is living in the UK and traveling around, she does wonderful little travel videos and then videos on her travel journals, which are the type of travel journals I think we all wish we had. They are colorful, whimsical, observations of everyday life and objects where she travels. She incorporates ephemera, and she offers so many tips that are accessible and non-intimidating when it comes to how to pack and what to use on your travels, and how to make the most of those journals, even if you work on those journals when you come home. She is always advocating, enjoy your journey when you're on it. You can do your journal when you come home. She has great videos on using basic materials in our art journals and mixed media. She's a technical paper artist, so she will show you how to mend a book or a spine. She gives lots of little, like just videos that help us enhance our basic skills. You don't have to be an expert to improve on what you're doing. But where I really, really started enjoying her videos is when she started going into her collage series, where she talks about her process and really goes over composition and why she chooses what she chooses, and how she uses the characters that she chooses in her collage and kind of uses their voice or what they're thinking to help determine how she makes the collage. Even though Kelly has talked about the fact that she's not overly religious, she's very inspired by religious artifacts and the architecture of Europe, which is, Renaissance, which I happen to absolutely love. And it finds its way into a lot of her work, and she uses it in such a beautiful way. She collects a lot of sort of precious holy cards and things like that, and she has a digital shop that she shares those, which is exciting because the images are beautiful, and we can't all go to France. She has beautiful journals she creates. She works in so many different styles, but I really appreciate the thought and the explanation that she puts into all of her videos. And one of my last things I'll mention is she does some really fun projects, and anybody who's using a blowtorch in their everyday mixed media world, that's a chick I kind of want to hang out with. So I would definitely recommend you go to her channel, look at her playlist. It's varied. And, if you're not into travel journals, I'm sure there's something else there for you. If you're not into collage, but you're into travel, like she has a lot. And can I just tell you, subscribe to her newsletter. Her newsletter has freebies in it. It has content in it, and it's worth getting. She doesn't spam you. It's a once a month thing, and I totally recommend her. All her information will be in the box below. So go on over and check her out. So that's it. That is the end of this month's Tea with Me. I hope that you've enjoyed this episode. If you found something interesting or useful, I'd really appreciate you booping the like button below and showing me a little love. Subscribing is an added bonus if you think that you would like further videos from me. I am always doing a tea with me every month. I do paper craft, polymer clay, vintage hauls. If you like paper miniatures, vintage, and crafty things. You'll find more videos of that nature here, and I hope that you will join the community. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of March. They say it's in like a lion and out like a lamb, and let's hope that is true. I will see you very, very soon. All the information about today's episode can be found in the information box below. Take care, friends. I so appreciate you having coffee and tea with me. Bye.